Hey, I hope you're having a great Monday this week. I'm continuing our series on vacation with vitality with some tips about how to enjoy theme parks. Everyone has seen the pictures of people who've been to theme parks and come out sunburned, angry, irritable, exhausted, and it was too crowded the day they went. No one wants to plan a miserable day for their family. How can you avoid such a disaster? Do you have to stay away from theme parks all summer long? The answer is no, not necessarily. If you plan well and you use the following tips, you can enjoy a day at the theme park or water park, wherever it is that your family has always dreamed of going. But you do need to plan ahead and do a few special tips to make sure that it's going to be a great day, not a disaster, a horrible day like it could be. We have walked into the theme park unprepared in the past and seen the families coming out red-faced, angry. The place was too crowded. You can actually check online at many theme parks to find out what the crowd levels are like. There are some tickers online that show how many people are there on a specific day. So check online ahead of time to find out if you can do a crowd check. It may be a good day to go. It might be not a good day to go. So if you're planning to visit an area from out of town and stay in a hotel, make your schedule flexible enough that you can choose one day or another to go to that theme park depending on the volume of the audience that's already there, so that you don't end up going on a congested day. Look for discounts everywhere. If you need to buy your tickets ahead of time, look at your memberships. Are you a AAA member? Are you a Costco member? What kind of memberships do you have? Are you a veteran? And look for those days when you can get a special advance price. The Human Resources Department at your workplace may offer special ticket pricing for members of your community or your hospital if you work for a large corporation. Check it out. It always helps to check for those things. Look for resident pricing if you're going to a theme park in the state where you live. Look at hotel deals. Sometimes you can bundle and get a package with the hotel where you're staying, and they can offer you discount tickets at the hotel. If you don't ask ahead of time, you won't know until you get there. And if you're booking with Expedia or one of the booking sites that most of us use, you'll need to call the hotel directly to see if they offer discount tickets for the theme park you plan to visit. So check not only for the crowd levels when you check your theme park website, but also check to see what their rules are. Check to see if you're allowed to bring in your own food and drinks. That can save you a lot of money. If you're allowed to bring in a bottle of water, if you're allowed to bring in some snacks, that can help tremendously at alleviating the cost. If you're not allowed, however, you can always go online and buy collapsible water bottles. Buy the ones that fold completely flat that you could even fit into a pocket. Those can be a lifesaver. That way you can hydrate as many times as you like at the water fountain without it costing you sometimes $5 to $10 even for a small bottle of water at some of the major theme parks. It can get very expensive, and you do want to stay hydrated. That's very important. There's nothing worse than being at a theme park in the middle of the summer and being sick with sunstroke. Is horrible, and you don't want that to happen to you or to your children or anyone in your family. So make sure you plan ahead to stay hydrated, but also you want to be budget conscious and not pay more than you have to for things. So the other thing you want to check ahead of time is you want to check for what the maps are like, because you want to plan with your family. What are your important things that you want to make sure you hit at the theme park before you go? Give everybody a chance to have at least one top pick and some second picks, but make sure everybody gets their top pick. Don't spend more time on one person's activity than another. Make sure it's fair, especially if you've got children with you. It's going to be important that things are fair. So make sure you know what the rules are with regard to what you're allowed to bring into the theme park. A lot of them are going to have rules about not having pocket knives or weapons. You don't want to accidentally end up at the gate and have to go all the way back to your car to put things away that you forgot you brought with you in your purse or your pocket. So check for that. If you can't bring your own water and snacks, you can also bring some things in the trunk, so at least you have something to cool down with on your way home. So that's a really great thing to have in the trunk of your car at the end of a long day. So another thing that you can check for is how to avoid having to rent a lot of lockers. If you're going to a theme park that has a lot of roller coaster rides, you can rent a locker every single time you want to go on a roller coaster. That's a few dollars here, a few dollars there, and you have to have quarters to rent these lockers. So that can be a lot of things to carry. If you don't have a pack mule person who doesn't like the roller coasters, you'll want to wear clothes that have a lot of pockets so that you can put everything that you want to carry into your pockets and you don't have to rent a locker at every roller coaster. I have certain cargo pants, capris, that are light and they're cool and comfortable to wear, but they have buttonable and zippable pockets so that things won't fall out of them. You don't want any kind of pockets that things are going to fall out of, but you do want to have places to put things because you're going to have certain things you want to make sure you bring with you, but you don't want to always have to check a locker because that can be tedious. It takes a lot of extra time, and it takes out of the fun of going on the roller coaster. So there's some things that you really do want to have. First of all, if you bring your cell phone, which I recommend you do in case of emergency, have a cell phone, and everybody in your party should have each other's cell phone numbers when you get to the park so that if you get disconnected for some reason from your teenager, you can always find them by calling their cell phone. But put your cell phones in a Ziploc bag. Whether or not you're going to a water park, a lot of the major theme parks will have rides where you can get wet. Also, if you happen to be in Florida or someplace where you have summer storms, you'll want to have protection for your cell phone while you're at the theme park. Sometimes your umbrella doesn't completely protect you, so make sure you put your cell phone inside of a Ziploc bag, and it folds flat against the cell phone. It doesn't create a lot of extra bulk like some kind of waterproof case would. So make sure that you protect that. Bring a poncho, fold it completely flat if you've used it before, and you can stick it in your pocket. It works better than an umbrella, and it's not as much to carry as an umbrella. So that's a great thing to have, and you can get them at the dollar store ahead of time instead of paying $15 in the gift shop for what's really only worth $1. So another thing you want to carry is maybe some germicidal wipes and some sunscreen wipes. Those are small, they fit real easily into a pocket, so those are great to have. You do want to apply sunscreen. Even if you're not going to a water park, you want to make sure you protect yourself from the sun. Anytime you're outside in the summertime, you're exposed to UV rays. You don't want to come home with a sunburn. It's very uncomfortable, and it's going to make you feel bad for the rest of your vacation. So try to put on the sunscreen at the beginning of your day, but just like if you're at the beach, you can sweat off that sunscreen, and if you're in a water park, you're washing off a lot of that sunscreen. Even waterproof sunscreen will wash off after a period of time if you're at a water park. So make sure you reapply your sunscreen, and make sure that you are bringing those germicidal wipes to get off the germs. Theme parks collect people from all over the world, people with all different kinds of wonderful germs that are coming to share them with your family. You do not want to bring home illness as a souvenir. And when it comes to water parks, you do need to be careful about rotavirus. Chlorine does not completely kill rotavirus, and it's contracted very often in water parks. So warn your children not to gulp the pool water when they're in a water park. That's the primary way that people share rotavirus. And if you don't happen to be feeling well the day that you're planning to go to a water park, pick something else to do just to be on the safe side. Not good to share with other people if you're not feeling well. So make sure that you protect yourself from rotavirus and that you protect yourself from all those other germs out there the best that you can. You can't be completely sure. But there is a lot of chlorine in a water park. If you have anybody in your group who's sensitive to chlorine, make sure you keep that in mind. Find ways to get them away from the chlorine. That's another good thing about looking at the map ahead of time. Some areas that are a little bit away from the water or indoors can be a good option in case you end up with somebody that's starting to get a headache from all the chlorine at the water park. Another thing that you want to make sure that you have is your patience. You want to always pack your patience when you go on vacation, but plan it in advance. Plan ahead that you are going to have a great time, that you're going to experience joy, and that you're going to offer grace, and that you're going to be kind-hearted and have a sense of humor when things don't go well. In a kind-hearted way, you're not going to make fun of each other, but refuse to allow other people around you to steal the happy ball out of your party. You don't want to let anybody ruin your time because they're having a bad day. So make sure you decide that in advance. It's a lot easier to decide that in advance and determine to have a good attitude throughout the day with your family, rather than trying to determine that on the scene when things happen that you don't expect. So another thing that you want to make sure that you do, goes without saying, is don't eat a big heavy meal before you go on a roller coaster ride or any kind of carnival ride that happens to be at your theme park. Any fast moving ride is not a good mix for those heavy greasy foods that you find on tap at the theme park. So make sure you plan to do something quiet and calm right after that big heavy meal. Don't go right on the roller coaster. Everyone around you on the roller coaster will thank you as well. So that's something that you want to make sure that you do, whether you're at a carnival or a theme park. The other thing that you might not be aware of is you don't want to have any loose articles on you when you get on a roller coaster. There is a huge graveyard beneath every roller coaster of lost sunglasses and cell phones and flip-flops and wallets. Do not be one of those people that loses their belongings on the roller coaster because you were sure that those sunglasses would stay on your head through the loop-de-loops of the roller coaster. People do it all the time. They forget the sunglasses are on their head. Determine in advance, every time you get on the roller coaster, you're going to take off your flip-flops, you're going to take off your sometimes people take off their flip-flops and put them underneath them on the seat, and they won't come out. Other people kick them off to the side on the exit area of the roller coaster so they can get them when they leave. There are lots of ways to do that, but flip-flops are really not a great pick for a theme park anyway because they're not comfortable for a long day of walking, so you might want to just opt for some different shoes. You do want to dress comfortably. You do want to wear very comfortable walking shoes. The last thing you want to do is get at the end of your day or in the middle of your day and end up with blisters. If you're a mom, you might want to consider bringing with you some little blister ampules, some of those Band-Aids that are made for blisters for your theme park visit. At least keep them in the car if you don't have any room in your pockets for those, so that you don't have to worry about one of your children ending up walking around with blisters for half the day. A whiny child is not a fun thing to have at a theme park. So if you don't make time to or budget for the photos at the end of the roller coaster ride, make sure you at least give a glance at their pictures. They're really funny, and it's a lot of fun, and it adds to the fun of the roller coaster. So take a minute to check them out, even if you don't plan to pay the $30 for the picture. Sometimes 40. It depends on how much they've added to the cost of the picture. So while you're planning to have a great day, make sure you time it well. Don't outstay your fun. Don't overstay your welcome. Stay only as long as your energy is going to last. Theme parks are designed to have more than you can possibly do in one day. Don't try to do it all. If you try to do it all, you're going to drive yourself crazy and everybody with you. So make sure you understand before you go to the theme park, you cannot do everything. Pick the main things that you want to get done, enjoy those thoroughly, and before you're completely worn out, that's the time to go home. Before all your kids are screaming and you're dragging them, whining, screaming, crying out the gate, and you've ruined the day by staying too long, make sure you just stay as long as you can stay and still make it an enjoyable day. The point of the day is to have fun, not to see everything and check off a bunch of boxes. So if you determine in advance that's what you're going to do, you are going to get more for your money by having a great day than you will by seeing everything. So make sure you decide that in advance. Another thing about the end of the day is if you can stay close enough to that theme park and your hotel to get a shuttle home, the end of the day, that drive is a lot longer than the drive to get there. So consider getting that shuttle. At the Disney parks, some of the shuttles are as much fun as one of the rides. You get to take a boat across the lagoon. It's awesome. You can take the monorail in. There's a lot of different ways to get there. It's a lot of fun. So you could consider doing that. It costs a little bit more to stay in one of those hotels. So decide if that's in your budget. If it's not in your budget to get a hotel that has a shuttle, it might not be as fancy as the Disney shuttle, but some kind of shuttle where you don't have to drive and you can just kind of relax on the way back to the hotel. Make sure you plan to reserve enough energy at the end of your day and you're not leaving when you're too exhausted to drive, because accidents can happen when people are too tired to drive home from the theme park. We see them all the time coming back from Orlando to the Tampa area. We see a lot of accidents from overexhausted tourists who have visited Disney and did not allow enough time and focus on their way out of the theme park. They were just too tired. So don't let that happen to you. Balance your time on your vacation with any vacation, whether it's a theme park or any other kind of vacation. Activity and rest. Balance it out. Don't push yourselves past what is humanly possible to enjoy. Enjoy your activity, but then give, on the back end of that activity, plenty of sleep, plenty of downtime, plenty of rest. If you're staying in a hotel, plan in time to just kick back by the pool and relax. Plan time to hang out and watch cartoons in the morning. If you get to the theme park later than everybody else, it's okay. In fact, you might miss the biggest rush by not getting there too early. And if you know the way everyone is going when you get there and you go the opposite direction, the crowd seems to be sweeping, then you can miss a lot of lines. So another thing about lines at theme parks, if you plan ahead and look online, you can often get the skip the line or the express passes and skip the line on the main rides that have the longest wait. At Disney, there are certain rides that are longer wait than others. It used to be Space Mountain was the longest line. I'm not sure what is at this point, but know what the main attractions are. The most recently added attractions will have the longer lines, and you can often see at the end of each line how long the wait is. Sometimes that goes up and down depending on the time of the day. If you eat your lunch a little earlier than most people and go to the rides when most people are eating, sometimes that gives you a little bit shorter wait. So that's a little bit of a tip. And these are all little things to help you have a great day, but the biggest determiner in having a good day is not overdoing it. Making sure that you plan your time well, that you take what you're going to need, and that you have an attitude that's going to say, my family's happiness is more important than anything that we're going to do while we're here. So I hope that helps you have a great time at your next theme park visit or water park visit. Make sure you dress appropriately for your children or for you. Water parks are especially sensitive about dress. There are certain swimsuits that do not go well with water slides. It can be an embarrassing combination to have the wrong swimsuit on a water slide, and how you stand up at the end of a water slide takes a little finessing so that you don't share too much with the other visitors at the theme park. So make sure that you have a great time and have a sense of humor, and I will talk to you again about some more vacation tips next Monday. Have an awesome week. Bye-bye.